Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the T.H.O. Movie Reviews Podcast, the show where we bring you passionate, honest, and insightful film criticism. I'm your host, Bennett Campbell Ferguson. I'm joined today by my wonderful colleagues, Maxwell Meyers and Mo Shaunette. And today we are taking a question from one of our listeners, Sarah Michelle Jagger, and that question is, do you think there will be a certain point in film where nothing original can be made? Mo?
No.
No, that was good.
Yeah.
It feels good to start strong.
It does, but it's well, that assume a lot of people say like nothing original is made now. Well, I would disagree with that because they have familiar names. Certainly, there's movies that are adapted from books, from other movies. There's sequels. There's remakes. There's based on true stories. And you see a lot of those, but the thing is, there's creativity there. Like, just because it has a familiar name, that just means it's easier to sell. It doesn't mean there's nothing of substance to be found within it. Like, you look at Guardians of the Galaxy. It's not only a movie based on a comic book that hardly anyone ever heard of, but it's cobbled together from all these other 80s movies and sci-fi movies. But there's still something fresh and something interesting to be found in there. There's this comedy, this self-deprecating humor, the use of music, the effects, the different characters, all this stuff. Really, it's just adaptations and remakes are an easier sell because you can say, oh, they know this name already, so we can put in more. We don't have to spend as much on advertising. We can just say, this is The Jungle Book. This is a new Mad Max movie. People know those names, so we can work with that. But there's still something to be found. There's still some creativity to be found in there.
Max?
No. Because, I think, as long as someone's out there, no two brains are the same, so eventually there's always going to be something new to be said. Now, whether that something new is good, we have Seth Rogen who goes, we should have an adult, like a CGI animated film, but for adults. We'll call it Sausage Fest. But it's about sausages at a grocery store on Memorial Day weekend. I'm not saying it's good, but it's original.
I can honestly say I will not have seen a movie like that. That was a weird phrasing. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I know what you mean, yeah.
So, but then there's Juno, which is a coming-of-age story, but it's also about teen pregnancy. But in itself, it feels very original. Like, those two ideas aren't new, I think, to cinema at all. Coming-of-age story, teenage pregnancy. But for some reason, they marry it together with this comedy. It feels completely original. And it felt original at the time, and it won Best Original Screenplay.
And again, getting back to what I said earlier, the world changes, and films reflect that change. You look at something like Juno, that could never be made a few years ago, because you look at something like Teenage Pregnancy, there's no sympathy for a teenage girl who gets pregnant. They're just gonna... That story wouldn't happen. So seeing the world change and that get reflected.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think there will always be something original, and I think just like all directors, they'll take from other things that they like, but very original stories. Dope. Very original.
Absolutely.
I think there's...
It was black risky business, but that's alright.
But it felt original. It felt great, and I think there will always be... Oh, Beasts of the Southern Wild. Completely original.
Yeah,
like 100%.
That's true, yeah.
And I can't say I've seen anything like it, and I think we haven't seen the end of that. I think it'll just come from places you've never heard of. It'll be from people you've never heard of, and it'll maybe never hit the big wide release screens. But I think there will always be original ideas to be made into movies.
And that brings up another good point, is with all these remakes, not a lot of people have seen the original. Like,
yeah.
I I did when Fury Road came out. I hadn't seen. I went back and watched the first two Mad Max movies, but you can watch Fury Road and not know anything about the early ones and still enjoy it.
Yeah.
Wait, which Mad Max did you not see?
I didn't see Thunderdome.
What? How did you not see Thunderdome?
Because I ran out of time and interest.
Tina Turner.
But like we're recording this on the 17th. 2 days ago, the new Jungle Book movie came out. There have been like 5 different Jungle Book movies already, but there's no guarantee that a kid who this movie is aimed at has seen those movies.
Yeah.
There's no guarantee that they've seen, and this is almost certainly a remake of because it's Disney, it's a remake of the Disney version. There's no guarantee that they'll have seen that. So
it's funny you mentioned that. One of my coworker, she's 27, and she just said today, she goes, I want to see that. She goes, although I can't honestly really remember the Jungle Book. She goes, I remember seeing it, and I remember parts of it. She goes, but I can't honestly tell you like the exact plot line of the Jungle Book. Like, so
yeah, not a lot happens in that movie.
No, not a lot.
So there's still room for creativity. There'll always be room for creativity, even if it's not in the blockbuster scene. If it's just the indie people who are like, I have an idea, I'm gonna get it crowdfunded, I'm gonna spend my own money, I'm gonna put this together and release it on direct to DVD or through streaming, and see if it gets any bites.
Yeah,
there's still gonna be room for creativity.
I agree. Yeah, I mean, and I think too, one of the great things about movies is that it's not just about the idea; it's about how you execute it.
Yes.
And I mean, what you do, it's the way that you do it.
Yes, and have
Superman,
and have a lot of ideas been done over and over again. Yeah, I mean, we've all heard theories about mythology and Joseph Campbell about recurring stories that infuse every work of art out there. But at the same time, I mean, you can riff on something and in the process create something entirely new. I mentioned The Fountain earlier, which is the story about a man who's obsessed with a woman and he has to let go of that obsession to live his life. Well, if you think about just that idea, then Inception is basically a remake of The Fountain, except that Inception is not a mystical, drug trip quest movie. It's a heist movie. And it's not a lone hero's journey movie, it's an ensemble movie. And therefore, even though it's about the same thing, it has an entirely different vibe. It explores that idea in an entirely different way. And as a result, gives you a different perspective on that idea. So I don't really buy the idea that that originality is dead forever and that every story has always been told, because it's not just the stories, it's how you tell them, and in the process of the telling, I think, even if some of the themes are familiar, you can still, come at them in new ways and still really surprise people. Well, that wraps up for today. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Remember, if you like this podcast, please, oh please, click thumbs up and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And don't forget to like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter at T.H.O Movie Reviews, and please be sure to check out all the new reviews of movies and great content we have at thomoviereviews.wordpress.com. Once again, I'm your host, Bennett Campbell Ferguson, and from all of us here at T.H.O Movie Reviews, happy movie watching.